Hola, bienvenidos. Welcome to La Rebelucion, the Planning Rebelucion. This is the first of a series of workshops that we're doing to build community and to find ways and spaces where we can plan big, huge life goals, but then also how am I going to make shift fit this particular week, given that we have such a limited amount of time. Every week we'll have a guest who will drop some knowledge about balance, life hacks. And this week we have Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas. Welcome, Fernanda.
Hola, hola, ¿cómo están?
Great. If I'm hoping that maybe you could tell us a little bit about your role and who you are to begin with.
Sure, thank you, Rebecca. Hi, Lily, and hi, everybody. So my name is Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas. I am the Deputy Diversity Officer, and I've been at San Jose State for over 20 years. And if you count my years as a student, 23. I am an alumna from, undergrad and also my grad studies. And I'm just happy to be here. And today we're going to be talking about things that I wish I knew when I was in undergrad. I will tell a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk a little bit about my experience as a runner. I started running after I turned 40, so I was never a runner before that. And now I run marathons and ultra marathons, and I absolutely swear by it because it has helped me tremendously with my mental health, my physical fitness, all that. And I have met a lot of great people as well. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is a little hack on something that you can add to your email signature, where people actually learn to pronounce your name, especially when your name, like my name, is Spanish name, and so it's hard for some folks to enunciate it and pronunciate it. So that's kind of like in a nutshell what I'm going to be talking about. So do you want me to start?
Yes, great. Let's start a little bit with your background, sort of things that you wish you would have known.
Yes. So I am originally from Bogota, Colombia. I came to the United States when I was 22. So I had already completed 4 years of law school. So in Colombia, you can finish high school and directly go to law school. I had the idea that I wanted to actually study history, but my parents and friends of my family, and I also had like lawyers on both sides of the family, thought that it was easier or it was better for me to become a lawyer because you could then expand in something else. And if you like history, your thing was, you could write a book later on, but, a profession like being a lawyer was, provided for provide you income rather than just being a historian. So I start with that because when I came to the United States and I decided to stay, I had to start from scratch. I didn't have the option to transfer all my credits, even though I had over 300 credits, because the education that we have in Colombia it was at that time, it was completely different from, the credits and, general ed that we had in the United States. So the first thing I would say is don't be afraid to start again. For me, it was really hard because I was already 22. A lot of my classmates were, 17, 18, 19. I felt that a lot of my friends also in Colombia were graduating and started working. And so I felt that I was not at the same or developing at the same rate that everybody else was doing that. So that will be my second advice, is like, do not compare yourself with anybody else, but just compare yourself with your own process and your own development. And why I say this is because you're always going to find people who are going to be better than you and not so much than you. So you're always going to be in a position where sometimes you're going to feel great and sometimes you're going to just feel awful. Because at the time when I was 22, 23, and it's and starting I started my undergrad in mathematics. That was one of the reasons. One of the reasons I study mathematics, and I think I shared this story before, is because coming from a country where I was, a fluent speaker, fluent writer, and many, perhaps some of your parents who have immigrated had, situations like that, that you could be a very smart person in your own country, and then you come to the United States and you have such a hard time expressing yourself, giving ideas, just making yourself understood, that you feel stupid, you feel ignorant, just because you're not able to express yourself in the way that you were used to. So that affected me so much that I decided to study something that I was good at it, but it was not my passion, and it was math, because mathematics is a common, is the universal language. And I felt that I could do a good job, but and I didn't have to write, I didn't have to present, I didn't have to speak in public. I only had to, do problems. So I will say all this as I also think about the third thing that I want to share with you, which is always be kind, because you never know where you're going to land in life, right? Life is a long process, and throughout I'm already 47 years old. I have gone through a lot of ups and downs, and I have seen people who at one point or another were super wonderful to me, and at some other times I found people that were not. And I will share a story that actually happened at San Jose State, because, as I said, my career in San Jose State has been almost 20 years, or over 20 years. And when I was a student, when I first came to San Jose State, I was a transfer from West Valley College. In the past, you have to go and get an appointment where the old library, where the new library is. That was where the old Walkish building was. That's where you got your appointments for admissions. And you will get one advising appointment, for at the beginning of the semester. And I think I, as a new student, and also being somebody who is new to the area, I couldn't find parking, so I got like 10 minutes late to my appointment. And when I got to the front office, or the front counter, the person who actually was taking care of the appointments yelled at me. And she was super harsh, like, you missed your appointment. She could have told me, you missed your appointment, you need to make another appointment. But it was the way she talked to me. She yelled at me. She said so many things that I cried. I physically cried right in front of all the people that were in line. And I could never forget her face. I didn't remember her name. I didn't know her name, but I couldn't remember her. I could not forget her face. Fast forward 10 years, I'm already, working at San Jose State. I am the manager of undergrad admissions. And when I meet my staff, she was there. She was one of the staff members that I could never forget her face. And I actually had the opportunity to talk to her and say that, being another, you don't know the impact that you're going to have on anybody at any given point. And she did apologize. She said that she was having some issues during that period of her, time in her life. And I understand, but I will say that you never know how your words, your acts are going to impact people, and how life is going to, bring them back inside your life. So I will say that it's always be kind. The fourth thing will be know how, who to trust. I think that a lot of times we as students have the desire to meet new people and to belong and be part of things. And I think that will be part of kind of like how do you develop and how do you get to know yourself. But if something in your gut says this person is not okay, follow your gut. Sometimes I wish I had followed my gut and I have not given people 1 or 2 or 3 opportunities. I actually, now that I'm older, I'm like, when I feel it immediately, I'm just listening to it. So follow your gut on that. And the last thing I will say is that in the last last few years, I have been hearing a lot about, or because of my work and because of the research that I've done, I have heard, I have read about imposter syndrome, and I know we talk about and in our conversations to the students about belonging and all that. What is imposter syndrome? And what I was just going to share, because there are a lot of things that are written about it, is one of the things that resonated with me that I didn't know is that I have always been very much, as I said, I like to achieve things, right? For my own benefit, not because I'm in a competition. But even though I have achieved things, I usually tend to put them aside, like, okay, that's done. That doesn't matter anymore. I need to do something new, right? And that is part of what is called this idea of being a perfectionist, right? And I was always, no, I'm not a perfectionist. I am definitely not. But I am, in the sense that every time I'd accomplish something, I will say, okay, put it aside. That doesn't count. It's, forgotten, because now I have this new thing to do. And what that makes to you is that it's like you have these gigantic mountains behind you, because you have done so much, that the next step or the next task or the next challenge is going to be measured against that. And instead of supporting you, it's actually pushing you down and creating this anxiety and this depression, because you are comparing yourself instead of supporting yourself, as in, like, if I did that, I can do this. Instead of saying that, what I do is like, I don't even know if I can do this, because I have forgotten all the stuff that I've done in the past. So I will say that do a lot of that conversation, understand where those anxieties and those feelings of fear are coming from, and reframe them, right? So those were kind of like the 5 things that I had planned. If you want, I can continue talking about my my running experience. Okay, so as I shared before, I have around my 40th birthday. Actually, I started running. Short story is a short story, and it's a sad story in a sense, because after my mom passed away. I see Rebeca connecting. And Rebeca knows this story. So after my mom passed away in 2017, hi. So after she passed away in 2017, I felt a huge void. It was, and I don't want to get emotional, but still, it's been it's going to be 4 years this year. But she was. And she was, obviously, your mother is amazing. Everybody's mother is amazing. But my mother was, for me, a very close friend. She was my very dear close friend. And when I lost it, I lost part of myself. I lost part of myself because a lot of my life had been kind of like in a conversation with her. I will talk to her almost every day. Every decision I made was like, not what would Jesus do, but it's like, what will my mom do? And then I will do it. And I will try to think like her. And so when she left me, I just felt this awful void. And I am not exaggerating when I say that 2 days after she died, I needed to run. Like, I needed to get out of my parents' apartment in Bogota and run. And I didn't even have like good shoes, and I didn't know how to run. I didn't care about running ever before. And I just needed to run. So I started running as a need, like a physical need that came out of my gut and that told me that I needed to run. So for the remainder of that year, I started, I just continued running, and I started to get injured because I had no idea that you needed special shoes, and that you needed, to hydrate, and that you needed to stretch, and you needed to all that. So um, I've met, after a lot of people in my family telling me that running was bad for my knees and that I was going to injure myself and I was going to get worse. I actually looked for something online, and I was lucky to find a group of people, and it's a group here in San Jose, which is called San Jose Feeders, that do coach you in a group on how to run, and then train you if you want to run a half marathon or a marathon. And that's basically how I started. And I will say that for me, running is part of my mental health process of releasing stress. I have high anxiety. I tend to actually concentrate all my anxiety kind of like in my abdomen. My digestive system is very messed up, and I think that every time I run, I just feel some sort of like release. I don't feel any pressure. I feel just the normal pain of running. And I've been, as I said, running for almost 4 years. And I just love it. I love it. I love the community in running. I was talking to Rebeca the other day and giving her pointers about how to start, because I think it's just a matter of having other people so help you. I think for me also, registering for races helped a lot, because then you have something that you are training for, and definitely just making sure that you're taking care of your health. And it's not necessary. As a benefit of running, I actually lost 24 pounds. It was not something that I was planning, but it was just part of the running and part of the conditioning. I'm not advocating for losing weight or anything like that. I'm just saying that it was a side effect, I guess, a positive side effect of the running too. And it helped my digestion as well. So that's kind of like what I wanted to share. And I at school, when we were still going to work and to classes, there is a staff and faculty running group, and for me, it will be great if we could have, we will meet on Tuesdays at 4:30, and we'll run for like 5 miles around the neighborhood, downtown San Jose. And it was great. It was great, and I wish that we could do this again and get some students involved. And I think there was that running group for students. So, but I am not positive. So I recommend running for everybody, even if it's not running, walking. Walking definitely helps a lot with your mental health and also with your cognition. And when you get older, it has been demonstrated that it helps with, your memory, it prevents memory loss.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was such a great overview of some tips along the way, but then also how you use running as a way to balance and sort of continue on your journey. I also want to spotlight the fact that Fernanda will be doing a workshop with some of her, I believe, the co-San Jose Fitters.
They are not fitters, but they are other women, Latina women who are runners here in the Bay Area, and they have different stories. There are some that I'm not a fast runner, but I am a long distance runner. And there are some of them, a couple of them are really fast. So I admire them. And they're going to be part of my conversation. We're going to have kind of like a talk.
Yeah. Great. It'll be out of Centro, probably around mid-March. So keep your eye out for that. I think this is also a really good opportunity to remind all of you who are watching or listening that you can always make an appointment with anybody that you see on campus, right? It's sort of a, hey, can we have a little cafecito, like, anywhere from 15-minute Zoom to 30-minute Zoom, to just say, hey, do you have any tips for me? Is there anything that you can share on, here's what I'm struggling with. So thank you, Fernanda, so much for being so generous and sharing of yourself. You do have one last tip, that sort of life hack that I was hoping that you could talk a little bit about.
Yes, I do. So I don't know if we wanna, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so let me share my screen here. All right, so on my signature from my work email, you can see that I have my name, and next to my name is it's kind of like a picture of here my name. So right now, because it's my email, I cannot click it, but basically when you click on it, you can hear how I pronounce my name. And so as I said at the beginning, some of us have names that are Spanish or different pronunciation than the English pronunciation, and we would like other people to know how to pronounce it. Sometimes it's hard to pronounce a name, and so you need sometimes to practice it. I am not an expert. I make the mistake of not pronouncing others people's names that I feel absolutely horrid, and I think pronouncing somebody else's name the right way shows a lot of respect and that you care for that person. And so that's I will say that I saw that from somebody who actually had it on a I attended a presentation, and I sent her an email because I was very I really like what she spoke about. And so when she replied to me, actually her email signature had the Hear My Name, and I learned how to pronounce her name, which is great. So I am going to show you where you have to go to add that. So it's called Name Coach. And because I am already logged in, they already have my information. As you can see, my name is here, Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas. You can actually record it. You can copy the link. And when you copy the link, you can add that link to your, when you go to your when you go to your Gmail account and you go to your preferences, in the signature part of your account, that's where you actually copy this link and paste it next to your name, and the icon will appear. Now, for this name coach, you have to sign up, and it's easy. This is exactly what I did. You enter your email, your first name, your last name. If you want to, what exactly is that the full name that you want to say or announce, if you have a phonetic spelling of your name, and if you have a video. I don't have a video, and your pronouns if you want to also have those in your phone, and then you select how you want to record it. I did web record it, and then you submit it. You enter your phone number, you submit it, and then basically it takes you to another page where is, there is a little, I don't see it over here, but let's see. It gives you a place. I'm gonna stop sharing right now, but it gives you a place where you actually just click on that icon. You say your name. You can repeat it as many times if you're not happy with it. What I notice is that the recording slows down. So if you say it one way, like I will say Fernanda Perdomo-Arciniegas, it will say Fernanda. It will slow it down, and so that's how it's recorded. So it has even that benefit that is just a little slower than what you normally pronounce your name. So that's the hack, and then you add it under your preferences, and that's it.
Great, I love it. Thank you. I know I saw it in your signature, and I thought, oh, that's smart. I haven't seen that before, so just another hack. So this is just sort of a highlight of some of the workshops that we do. The latter end of the workshop, we're going to provide some time for students to learn just a quick tip on how to plan your week. We'll play some music and hopefully curate a playlist through the term. And at the end, I'll also link you the playlist, but provide some actual time for you to start planning, pull out your pens. If anything like me, you have a million. I have like 2 jars of these. So anyway, thank you for joining La Rebelucion. Gracias, Fernanda, for being a guest. And thank you so much, Lily and Centro, and all the student success leaders, and Elisa, for being such champions of this work.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Lily. Gracias, gracias.
Thank you both.